Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Baron After Dark. This is your own Baron right here. Greeting you all for tonight. This is the last Wednesday of the month, which brings, of course, open mic night. It's the most dangerous night on YouTube you can imagine. My apologies for being off for the last couple of weeks. Been kind of under the weather, you might say, but feeling a lot better now. But seems like we already got some people in the green room. Hopefully, they're not drawing on the walls and eating all my M&Ms that I have in there. First, I'd like to bring in John Fez for
Hello.
Hire, Rendo, my super wrench. Great to see you, John. How you doing?
All right. Great seeing you. Been a
Last
little
time I saw.
while. I missed you.
Oh yeah. Well, I should tell you the other week. What Saturday on
Yeah.
Raymond's channel. So that
Yeah.
was good. So happy
But,
to see you there.
yeah. Glad things are going better now and feeling better
Yeah,
and all that.
yeah,
So,
getting better. Ups and downs, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
well, that's the
I
thing. God's grace and time.
You got it. And of course,
But,
also in the green room right now is the old man himself in the
ah.
basement of Old Man Castle, as I said here in Tag Manor. As we continue on here, but first of all, I would like to say hi to Low Spec Linux Laptop. Hello, how you doing tonight? Glad to see you in the chat. I got to learn to do that a little bit better to say hi to all those people in there. And of course, anyone who's lurking, hey, hi, how you doing? So,
Hello.
Wendy Webb did send me a
Hello.
yeah. Wendy Webb did send me a message saying she's running a little late. She's got some interesting stories to tell us here.
Oh, good.
Uh, well, the big thing is as you know, I'm sure everybody knows, hopefully, that she is now a grandmother.
Yes.
Yes, and she's got some unique things to talk about her grandson. She's rather proud of
Hmm.
uniqueness. I'm not going to steal any thunder from her because I don't want to get on her bad side. I mean, she's got those fembot bra cups that Fetfire gave her.
Yeah,
Oh, speaking of which,
I still want to
speaking.
watch her reload those.
I don't know if Jimmy will. I don't know if Jimmy will allow that. Speaking of which, I got something I got to show you. I think you saw that this John on the last show, but with Raymond. But there we go.
Oh yeah,
Right before I hired did it to me yet again. I had to ask him, "Hey, please send that to me." As an
yep,
Al Bundy fan, 4 touchdowns in 1 live stream. That's me, boys and
yep,
girls.
yep. Awesome.
I
He's a
love
good
that man.
guy.
He is. He's. I wish he wasn't working on Wednesday nights. I would like to get him on and talk. I got to find a time that we can get together and chat sometime along
Yeah, because I guess he works nights
here. Hmm.
during the week.
Hmm.
I think like Friday or Sunday or Saturday are his nights off,
Yeah.
something like that. But hopefully one of these days we'll get him on here.
And I want to say a hi to Pops, who just popped into the chat, and as well as my long suffering Mrs. Tag, trying to make sure I stay behave.
Uh-huh. Hello, folks.
You know, since she's watching, I do have something for her. I do have something I have to play for her. This is a long-standing joke in the Tag residence.
Hi, honey. Did you miss me?
With every bullet so far.
Well, maybe you need a bigger gun, sweetheart. Not that I don't love your itty-bitty one.
Well, it was better than the other one I was thinking about playing. I don't know if I should dare do that, but maybe I should because I'm already digging myself a hole.
Question 2. Who would you rather spend the night with? A, your wife, or B?
B.
Love it.
I'm glad she loves me. I'm glad she loves me.
Yep. Whatever works,
Oh, exactly. Exactly.
And that those remind me of that line. I wish I could remember the show it's from, but it's one of these things where one of the minor characters asks somebody, "Can I ask you a stupid question?" And the guy says, "Yeah, better than anybody I know."
Yeah. Oh, I should know what that show was. I remember that line too.
Yeah.
That was.
I'm pretty sure it wasn't MASH, but
No.
an old man, hello there. How you doing, buddy?
Does that answer your question? Yeah. The smog over here is horrible. Horrible smog. You just...
Yeah, let's see. Brendan.
Yes, you are on. Can you hear us, old man?
Are you there?
Yes, I can hear you, but I'm running on a delay video-wise.
That's because I put him in a 7-second delay because you just never know what he's going to say.
I bet you would do that too.
And we have Brandon Looney Tunes fan 2000 has just dumped in there. What's up, Doc? Everything's up right now. My dander. No. And did you take a look above you there, John? See who's luring over you in the corner?
Hail Mouse.
Hail Mouse. Yeah, he's watching over you.
Yeah. Well, Dolly's up in the window box up here, and I just put a nice little pad for her so she can watch the feral cats and bunnies and moths and other creatures.
Yeah. I don't have to worry about that with Mouse. Mouse doesn't seem interested in that, but boy, do the dogs. Oh. And of course, what I saw the other day? This is for the even more for the old man. I was sitting outside with the dogs, minding my own business, making sure they behave, which is like herding cats. And all of a sudden, right in the middle of my face, flies this hummingbird, just floats there right in front of me.
Oh, fudge.
Yeah. I was like, whoa, hey, hello, how you doing? And then he flittered away. It's like, well, nice seeing you. Thanks for.
Wow.
I get, that's the one thing. I get so many different birds in my backyard, and I love it.
I got hummingbird feeders in my front yard, and in my backyard, I've seen one.
I am now. Now, after I saw that little guy floating around, I am going to get for next year. I think it's a little too late for this year, but next year get a hummingbird feeders out.
Dad used to have bird feeders up in back of the house here, and he used to like to watch out the windows there. We had the glass sliding doors, and then along came the squirrels, and it was fun watching them as far as I was concerned. Of course, they would always steal the seed and all this, but I like squirrels. They're fun to watch.
Lyle used to have a hummingbird feeder in his backyard, and I was sitting out there with Mrs. Old Man and watching a hummingbird driving other hummingbirds away from the feeder because he thought it was his own personal feeder.
Oh dear.
Well, I told you about that one place that was down by that studio. I think it was the same studio that good old Alec Two Gun Baldwin had to have.
Oh God, yeah.
But that studio down there was that place, and your mother, my grandmother, took me to this fenced in, or not fenced in, but walled in backyard, and we're going back there. I'm going, whoa, wait a moment, this is someone's backyard. We shouldn't go back there. No, that's just fine. Okay, so we go back there, and it's like this mini little park back there, and the whole place is just flying around with hummingbirds left and right. I couldn't count them. There's all over the place. So we're eating our lunch back there with these hummingbirds just and it's like, whoa, forget the Roadrunner. This is down in New Mexico. Forget the hummingbird. I am loving it. Rough Girl. Oh, thank you for coming. How are you doing?
Hi, Rough Girl.
Good to see you.
Hi, Rough Girl.
Good to see you. Oh,
hello, Brandon, too. I'm sorry I didn't say anything earlier. And Pops.
Oh, yeah. And I always feel blessed when Rough Girl comes around. Make sure I'm behaving.
Well, she came for you.
Yeah, she came in, and she gotten for punishment. Anybody who comes in for me has to be a glutton for punishment. What does that say about you two?
This is maybe a little bit off topic from where we normally go, but I saw a movie just a little earlier this evening on, believe it or not, YouTube, and I can't remember the whole name of the thing. Maybe I can here if I just take a peek here. Destination Planet Negro.
Whoa.
And the black guys that are doing it, they put this whole thing together for $7,000. And everybody in there, all the actors, the crew, everybody is all volunteer. And it's all done, like in the 1930s. They built a spaceship to leave the planet to get away from white people. They end up in a time loop through a wormhole and come back to Earth in modern times. And now these people with that mindset from back then are interacting with all the people in our time. And it is funny. I mean,
thank you, sir.
Would have been loving it.
Thank you for coming by as much as you can, the Rough Girl. I'll DM you later on and talk to you later, Rough Girl, and see how you're doing there. And I know you've been having a rough month, but hey, I'm praying for you. I'm thinking about you. You're in my heart. So I just want to make sure
we worry about you, really, honestly, all of us.
Hang on,
everybody who knows you.
I got to drop out for a second.
Okay, he's dropping out. He's gone. He's had enough. Feds for Hire has had enough.
The Fed has disappeared.
Well, he's trying to make sure Steve Gutenberg's still the star. That's his job in the Stonecutters.
It'd be nice to be able to hear you better too. Sometimes you pull too far away from the mic.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, I'm back.
No, that's because I wanted to annoy you. Hey, there he is.
Yeah, Dolly had to go upstairs.
Mm.
She was starting to get too close to the computer. And every time she does that, she hits that button that makes things freeze up or blow up or go to a different channel or,
Mouse has done that to me. He has done that to me. Watch what you're doing, guy.
Yeah. Well, he seems, kind of happy where he's at,
Yeah, I mean, he's got his box.
kind of content.
And we got
Dolly,
the Universe Galaxy NBA. Well, today, yeah, it's just about anything. I mean,
It's wide open. Sound off.
Yeah, it's a free for all, just as long as people relatively behave. That's all we ask. I don't know much about the NBA, but hey, what can I say?
well, that's the one with the orange ball and the hoops, right? Okay.
All these guys are bouncing a pumpkin around and then trying to put it into this basket. Do you take calls from the audience then? No. Well, basically we do, yeah. When people ask questions in the chat, more than happy.
It's open mic.
Open mic Wednesday.
Which means something totally different to Wendy Webb because she's, trauma nurse. So get the scalpel and open mic.
Oh, yeah. Always something interesting when she comes on and talks about. Always look forward to that one.
Oh, yeah.
I was watching some videos today, kind of in the way of pop culture, but it sounds like DC Comics is not going to be at Comic-Con in San Diego this year, officially. But then again, Comic-Con hasn't been at Comic-Con in, 10, 20 years?
Don't know. I've never been to one. I've been to, Star Trek convention in Scranton back in the 80s. I got to see Jimmy Doohan there. That was great.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Nerd Portal and I were actually talking about him the other day.
Yeah, it's kind of screwy because I was never really good in big crowds like that, and it took a long time to get used to that kind of thing over many, many years. But no, that one was actually kind of fun, and we did have in Scranton actually people dressed in Star Wars garb and all that, or Star Trek garb.
Galaxy, if you scroll up in the talk in the chat line, you'll see where you have a little tag where you can plug in.
And you know what? In the green room right now, we have the star of the hour, our own lovely and talented and very caring and compassionate Wendy Webb, trauma warrior herself. Hey, Wendy.
You're giving me a little too much credit, man. Hi, guys.
Oh, no. Like I
said, there. How you doing?
Good. How you doing?
If I ever get wiped out, I want you to be my trauma nurse. That's what I say.
Well, that's fine. I'll be your trauma nurse. I just hope I never have to be.
I hope not either.
He wants to come visit me at work. You're having a bad day if you come visit me at work. I'm telling you.
Yeah, that's true.
But
after a couple of videos I played, I might have to visit you because the long suffering is going to get me.
Oh, Cheyenne! Oh God! She just stomped across my belly.
Your dog is attacking you.
She just walked right across my belly.
How's Dr. Jimmy? How's Dr. Jimmy doing?
She's good. She had a really busy day, so she's already laying down in bed with her book, reading. I just got home. So cut me up some cantaloupe. That's what I'm having for dinner, I guess.
Well, over the years, I've been in the trauma room 1 or 2 times myself, and I've sent a few people there.
You what? I didn't hear it.
He said he sent a few people to the trauma room.
Oh, he sent a few.
Yeah.
Plus being there too.
Yeah.
Well, I've been there once last year.
Mm-hmm. That was enough for you as a patient.
That's all I ever want to do. I'd rather be on the dull end of the needle.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Of course, John knew, but I don't think the old man did. I did let him know that you are now a grandmother.
Yes, I am. I'm a grandmother.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And we were chatting in the DMs about that, and she was saying that her grandson has unique ability.
Yeah, he's our little X-Man.
Hmm. He can count to 11 on his hands.
Yes.
Yeah.
He has 6 fingers on his left hand.
Hmm.
Really?
6 fully functional fingers. I sent Baron the X-ray so he could see it.
Mm.
He's got an extra
No,
bone in his hand and everything.
oh, you just opened up a line. I'm not going to go there.
Huh?
This one
You
goes
just,
to 11.
An extra bone.
in
I
fact,
knew a woman that had 2 thumbs.
2 thumbs?
Yeah, 2 thumbs. The little wiggly thing on the end of your hand.
Yeah. Wow.
The one that's
Well, you know,
incorrectly called a finger, but it ain't.
Hmm.
Was it growing out of the joint, the thumb joint, like a second joint growing out?
No, it actually grew right out of what would be the web area of the thumb.
Wow, that's pretty rare.
So she actually had 2 thumbs for real, and they were
Wow.
both articulated.
Yeah.
The guys loved her.
No doubt.
My son has 2 ring fingers. My grandson, he has 2 ring fingers on his left
Oh,
hand.
wow.
Well, I can wear it with 2 rings.
On which hand?
Left hand.
what?
Well, then he doesn't have to worry at wedding time.
Yeah. And I told her when I first to get him a guitar.
Yeah. Well, my son plays the guitar, so I'm sure he'll be teaching him how to play.
Yeah.
Jimi Hendrix.
He'll be able
I was
to do
thinking
those
about
chords that only Queensrÿche can do.
Right?
I was thinking about what a heck of a piano player.
Yeah, really, that too.
Oh boy, I bet he could really do that one.
Yeah.
So Jimmy and I have actually been doing some research on this and the dexterity of people that have an extra finger on their hand, functional finger, their brain actually makes them has better dexterity than people with 5 fingers. And they are actually, I mean, it's all, they've done studies where they've lit the EEGs, parts of the brain that light up. Whenever they would use just that finger, there's a part for the brain just for that finger that lights
Yeah,
up.
that motor
for that
function
extra
and
finger.
coordination.
Yeah, and they're extremely coordinated. My
Yeah.
daughter-in-law's great grandfather had 6 fingers on both hands.
Oh dear.
So, yeah,
Wow.
that's my grandson's hand.
For
That's a
crying out-
picture with his hand is palm up.
Uh-huh.
You can see the bone in the wrist that you can see is the capitate bone, but it looks different because it's a little wider than the normal capitate bone.
Okay. Neat.
Yeah.
So he can go around on the field, go, hey, high 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Good luck.
I
to him.
can't, now that I know, I look at my hands and I feel so inadequate.
Yeah.
So do I.
And you said that that 5th finger is fully articulate?
Completely.
Wow.
Fully functional. Yep.
Pretty cool.
And it's hard to tell because his fingers weren't completely straight for the x-ray, but the radiologist that read it said that he's pretty sure that it's 2 ring fingers. It just looks like one is shorter than the other one because it's a little more bent.
Uh-huh.
But he said
Yeah.
looking
Yeah,
where the
you said-
hand bones come down, by looking at where the hand bones are coming down, he said it looks like
Yeah.
the 3rd and the 4th bones there. The pinky is the 5th.
Mhm.
The 3rd
Yeah.
and 4th bones are kind of would meet up in the same area in a
Yeah.
joint. And he says that place there where that 3rd and 4th one are should match up to where a ring finger is. and the ring finger joint, that bone for it leading to the wrist, that's where it matches up. So
Yeah, I see the finger leans in a little bit to the
yeah,
towards the middle finger.
yeah,
Hmm.
kind of squeezed in there.
Yeah. Now, babies in general, how long does it take for the bones to actually grow to more, you know, uh,
Density,
yeah,
better
where the
density,
knuckles
so you can
actually
see them
point
all.
up? Yeah.
It'll probably be about 4 or 5 years old before we can get a true reading on it.
Okay.
So
In the meantime,
I
the
mean,
the
we'll
bones are
start to
not.
see over the next few years. You'll start to see the individual bones will start to become more noticeable on X-rays. But by the time he's
Yeah,
about
and
5
they'll
or
get closer and
so,
actually connect.
yeah, we'll be able to see where that extra bone is.
Cool. Yeah, because you can just barely make out the fingertip bone.
Yeah, but his finger was bent because his fingers weren't completely
Yeah,
straight.
yeah.
I'd had to have put my hand in there to hold his fingers out straight. He was only about 30 minutes old. Had 30 minutes old whenever they took the picture, so his
Yeah.
fingers were still kind of curled. But
I
I
hate
had
to say
pulled
this,
on the
so
back of. Huh?
oh, go on. Oh, finish up.
I was going to say to kind of stretch his fingers out and keep them open. Whenever I actually held his arm myself, and I was pulling back on his the forearm extensor tendons on the to pull his fingers back, just so we could get them as straight as possible.
Huh.
Now, I was just going to say that your grandson has a major handicap now, though.
Yeah,
He can't do a double flip off on somebody.
he can do a
Or
triple
can.
flip off.
I suppose you could do a triple, yeah.
There you go. There
Do
you
you have
go.
any left-handedness in your family?
I'm left-handed, and my son is left-handed.
Aha! That might
And I'm
explain why
left-handed.
his hand want to fist up. It's a trait of left-handed people. I've got it myself, and it's hard for me to hold my fingers straight. They want to form up into a fist.
Yeah. No, my son and I are both left-handed. I actually do, though. I have an aunt and an uncle, my mom's side, that are also left-handed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And you know, when I was in the military, they ran a test on people, right-handed and left-handed, combat and non-combat.
Yeah.
And this was a 5-day test. They put us through hell. The end result was that left-handed men have a faster reaction time than right-handed men. And they came back with the fact that left-handed combat vets have the fastest reaction time of all. But here's the kick. There were some women in there.
Yeah.
Women had some of the fastest reaction times you could imagine. They blew a lot of us guys out of the water.
I had some really fast reaction times, too. Yeah.
Well, I know that for a fact because whenever I make a smart comment, you should see how fast the long suffering hits me.
Well, that's the thing. I'm left-handed, but I do most things right-handed. And I eat left-handed and I write left-handed. That's about it. And if I go up
on my left
range with the semi, the bullet shoots out, of course, to the right. If I try to use the left hand with that, the bullet shoots right in my face, or the casing rather.
Yeah.
That'll increase your reaction time quick.
With the M16, they ejected and they went right down your shirt collar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is this? I'm surrounded by all these left-handed mutants.
Hey, watch it.
Left-handed gun nuts.
I got news for you, kid.
We're all in our right mind.
Yeah. The right side of the brain controls what?
Yep. Right
But
brain
the
controls the left
brain
body. Left side.
controls everything.
See, the one thing that you need to do, John, is fire like a C96 Brewmaster Mauser or something where the bullets just fly up instead of off to the side. Or the casings.
That could be fun.
What I truly loved was the Ithaca Model 37 12-gauge shotgun. They eject right out the bottom.
Ah, Well, with my luck, it'd eject down and back.
There's a colonel at Danang that's hunting my ass because I stole his 12 gauge.
Well, hello, the lovely Sherry. Welcome to the show. Glad to see
hello
you here.
again.
Hello, Sherry.
Yeah, she was on Raymond's stream earlier.
Oh, really?
I
Yeah.
should have caught that. I forgot he had a stream on earlier. I should have watched that. It didn't pop up on
that's
my
what-
notifications.
Yeah,
That's all.
Raymond and Sandra aren't feeling so good.
Yeah, he had the coof.
I missed it.
And
Yeah,
I wouldn't be
I
surprised
guess
if she
she
got
got
it.
it now too.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, he had a bad tooth that was
Yeah.
really knocking him for a little.
Asked him.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, I asked him how he was feeling on a DM, and he DM'd me back this evening while I was on doing the emergency heart, and said that they were both feeling crappy, but he was feeling less crappy than Sandra. So
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, he was really out of it on Saturday. He was sending me a DMs apologizing, saying, "Hey man, you did a yeoman's work in there. Yeoman's
Yeah,
work."
really.
Then
He did
again, we had
great.
the bunny lady show up again, so
Yeah.
seeing all those
Yeah,
little
and he had
hoppy
the,
hoppers and
He had the lady
Yeah,
with
we
the ferrets tonight. That was really cool.
oh, okay.
please tell me he got
Yeah.
peed on again. Please tell me he
I got
No,
roped into
but
an
we did
emergency
film that.
heart tonight.
Fat Steven Seagal doesn't exist anymore. He's now Justice Steven Seagal.
Oh yeah.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Yeah. And he's got a, what do you want to call it? It ain't for serious.
Yeah, satire.
Funny or all get out. I loved it.
Yeah, he's been good doing that for about I think since Saturday or Friday or Saturday or whatever.
Yeah, something like that.
Mhm. Oh yeah, he
Yeah.
changes his name and does that all the time.
Mhm.
I love following him. He's a
He
good
seems
guy.
a really good guy.
Yeah, no, no. Anyone who says anything bad about that guy doesn't know him. He's got a big, huge heart. He might sound tough and all that, but he's got a big, big heart. But I was watching some of his streams, his gaming streams, and he was sounding really good. On top of little bit on top of the world, even if he was getting smeared in the games.
Yeah.
Oh, well, life happens.
Yeah, I know.
He was talking about the fact that he was having some kind of correspondence problems with the whoever on his disability.
Oh dear.
Yeah, he's still working on that. Well, I told him if he needs to come down to the States, I got a place for him.
Yeah. Well, that's right. He's up in Canada.
Yep.
Yeah.
He,
And if he comes down here, he can escape Trudeau.
Yeah.
oh, yeah. He has no love for Trudeau, that's for sure. And he's a very
A lot of
apolitical
people
guy.
don't. Yeah.
He really is. So
Yeah,
that's
it's
one
one
of
of those
something right
things.
there.
They're kind of forcing everybody to choose sides these days.
Hmm.
I refuse to.
Well, you're on my side, or that's it. I'll cancel
Yeah.
this right now.
Well,
No.
Trudeau is really a half a bubble off center.
Yeah, he's out there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You wonder.
Oh, I always wonder. That's one thing I like about having a lot of the internet and stuff now. I can actually watch stuff around the world, see other news. So,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's interesting watching the Japanese one, NRK.
Yeah.
NRK
Oh.
is Norway. NHK is the Japanese one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to
There's-
correct you. You already corrected yourself.
Mm-hmm. Well, I can't get NRK. They won't let us have that. There is a block on that. You have to probably get one of those VPNs so you can actually watch those. So.
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
see, I
I
like
don't know
that
why.
Sky News out of Australia, and the one newscaster. I think she's of Indian descent, but she's really pretty and has a great voice, and she's funny.
She's the one on Sky News?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Does she
she's something
does,
else.
does she have the Aussie accent?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I gotta watch that. I got
yeah,
Sky News.
It's really funny looking at an Indian woman with an Australian accent. It's hysterical.
yeah. And she's got just that little twinge of sarcasm
Oh, yeah.
in what she says. That's just, it's like that sting of Dr. Pepper the first time you taste it.
Dr. Pepper.
Really cool.
There's one thing that freaked me out to no end. And
Mhm.
that was when I was in Norway and I saw these Chinese people speaking Norwegian.
Mhm.
Mm.
Yeah, that'll throw you.
Oh, it did.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not a language you expect them to learn. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, the only problem is there are vowels in the Norwegian language that they don't have in Chinese or Japanese.
Yeah. Well, that's the
Well, it's
thing. And one
almost.
of them, I saw a video the other day, and I go through a lot of different kinds of weird stuff when I'm bored. But this one was a fella, I guess he's from South Africa, and black fellow who from one of the tribes speaks perfect, beautiful English, and he was teaching how the clicks that they use in some of the languages down there work. And I don't remember any of it, but it was rather fascinating to watch because he was able to say English words, but also using the clicks where they would be in his language. That's pretty
Wow.
neat, you know,
Yeah,
Huh.
I mean,
That
fascinating.
would
always-
really be interesting.
always interesting to learn
Yeah.
all that stuff. I mean, it's like watching the
I've
NHK. Oh, sorry. Go on, Woody.
No, I was just going to say accents. There are so many people from all over the world that work at my hospital. I've gotten used to so many different accents.
Yeah.
A lot of people get frustrated with it. I don't have a problem with it though, but maybe it's because I was in the army. But
Mm.
I bounced around a
Well,
lot.
the only accent I have a problem with is Scottish because my grandfather's best friend was Scottish and he was from Aberdeen.
Mm.
And it wasn't that I had a problem with him or anything like that. I love Scotland. But after about 3 minutes of talking to him, I started to develop the accent, and I'm sitting there inside my head going, "Shut up! You're embarrassing the poor
Knock
guy."
it out. Knock it out. Knock that damn accent right out there.
Yeah,
Baron, would you like to tell your story about your Scottish accent?
Oh, well, what I was able to do when I was younger, I was at a gas station and some I think it was some Scots came in and I was doing a Scottish accent and they thought I was from Scotland. I was from Scotland. I don't know that. And I don't know. I did it good enough that they thought I was a Scots.
I used to be able to do some of that because I love the accents and everything.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
And then, of course, there was the one waitress from Scotland, and she'd talk in the full on accent. And Buddy says to me, "Wow, she really rolls her R's." I said, "Yeah, only when she wears high heels."
That's rustic.
Roll with that one.
I got it. I don't know if I wanted it, but I got it.
That's rustic.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. So I mean, I love hearing the different ones. I mean, one thing one thing I have to step back and say, I know that there are a holes in the country. Everybody has a holes, no matter where you go. But every Australian I have met personally have been the greatest people in the world, and not even in the United States. When I was over in Norway. When I was over in Norway in the Viking encampment, they had besides a bunch of the Norwegians there, of course, us four Yanks that came over from Minnesota, and then there was a young girl there from New York that was in Norway on exchange student. She was working in there, but a guy by the name of Ralph. I called him King Ralph of the Wallabies, and he was on his walkabout, and I just had a grand. What I could remember, we had a grand old time because. for us that was working in the encampment, we were getting the beer for cheap. I mean, to try to get a thing of beer over there is expensive, like $8 a glass back in '94.
Yeah.
And
Oh my God.
Is
they
there
were
baseball
charging
with
like,
that?
hmm?
Do they sell baseball with that?
No, they don't. No,
Wow.
that's what you get for having government monopolies.
Hmm.
But we're buying them for about 10 kroner, which was about a little over $1. So, hi, Leah Rose, how you doing? So we're just going around and just downing, when we're off duty, of course, not working, going to the Hugenamunen or the Valhall, and just having a grand. One guy was stacking his plastic cups. I think he's got about that high
Hmm.
as he was going around drinking on that whole night there, and it was just a wild time. But yeah, but what kind of goes into that. I was walking home from the encampment down to the to where we're staying, the barracks,
Yeah.
and I thought, well, I'm going to give a call back home. And so I go on there and try to figure out, okay, this is how we do international phone calls. I'm very illiterate in this. I put the phone call through, it rings, and this lady picks up with this Australian accent. I go, hi, this isn't America, is it? She goes, no, this is, and where do you know it? She was in Perth, Australia.
Oh God.
And so, oh,
Nice.
really? Well, I'm in Norway, and this woman's flabbergasted.
Wow.
Says, hey, how's the weather down there? Well, I'm running out of money. It was really nice talking to you. Sorry about this wrong call from Norway to Australia, but I hope you have a great day. I wonder if this woman talks about this crazy American that called her from Norway.
You better believe she did.
We had the one fella at the salt company I worked for, and I can't remember his real name, but he worked also as he worked also as a DJ, and he went by the name Kangaroo. I thought that was
Many years back, I tried to call our friends in Norway, Randy and Terje Sumestad, and I dial in. The phone number I get is to another Norwegian, not the one I wanted to talk to. Thankfully, the international operator was still online. You should have heard a three-way conversation between the three of us till we finally got the right person. He looked it up in the Norwegian phone book, gave the right phone number, and I finally got the people I wanted to talk to.
We have an Australian.
hello.
Yeah, Wendy?
Uh oh.
Uh-oh. 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 Did her doggy do something? Well, we'll wait patiently for that. When I was working for Amico, we had an Australian. The guy would come by to get the money. The bank truck.
Yeah.
And this is but late '80s. Yeah, late '80s. This guy looked like Mel Gibson from the first Mad Max film.
Oh,
A really young one. And he was a great guy. He was fun to be with. We laughed, and all that, and he never felt threatened coming in with us and all that because we're just having a grand old time. But like I said, every time I ran into an Australian so far, they've been just wonderful, wonderful people.
Our
Yeah.
hospital.
And there was the one thing was I never asked the guy that I worked with about Crocodile
can
Dundee or
you
anything.
hear me?
Yeah.
Now we can hear you. Hi.
Yeah, we never asked him about Crocodile Dundee because we figured he's getting that 24 hours a day everywhere he goes. So, give him a break on that. But
I still
it's cool.
hear.
You're kind of breaking up there, Wendy.
Yeah, Wendy, it's hard to hear you, sweetheart.
Oh, she's gone. We'll keep an eye out for her. She always seems to have a little bit of internet connection out there. I think that Coyotes must have been eating her lines there. Oh, yeah. Well,
Years
the
ago,
one.
pretty naive.
Mhm.
I thought I knew English, right?
Yeah.
And I thought I knew Brits. And this guy came in. I was working for Avis Rent-A-Car. A job I didn't have for very long because I couldn't stand it. But anyhow, at that particular point in time, this English guy came in and wanted an estate wagon. Oh, yeah, an estate car, rather. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Estate car. I thought he wanted a big car. So I took him outside, and here was a big Plymouth Fury.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's not what I want. Finally, we figured out his estate car that he wanted to talk about was a station wagon.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like a you-know-what.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Another country separated from us by a common language.
Yes.
There we go.
You want a real trick, go over to the Netherlands. You know, that little island thing out there?
Yeah.
Well, one part of it, they speak Farusian. Now, that's a really cute one. Because if you're driving around in Fallujah, when you come up to a stop, they got a big octagon sign that says "Stop."
Mm-hmm.
They are speaking Middle English there.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and you can, it's scary because you can sit there and listen to these guys talk, and you understand them.
Yeah. That's the weird thing. I could never understand what was in Chaucer's tales because it was written in the Old English. And it's like, what is this? And then you hear somebody recite it, and that's what it sounds like.
Yes.
That's weird. And of course, you mentioned Plymouth Fury 3. A buddy of mine had one, and this was one of the dark green ones.
Oh, really?
He inherited from his grandfather. Yeah, that thing, he had the whole thing supercharged and took really good care of it, except for the inside, which I decorated with blue fur and guitar picks. And he used to call it the USS Suckmut.
Jeez.
That thing, now, Wilkes-Barre in West Pittston, where I grew up, and he lived just up the street, is 10 miles from Wilkes-Barre, almost exactly. And he used to make that run down Wyoming Avenue, and he timed the lights. He'd get that run into Wilkes-Barre in 10 minutes, and he never missed a light on the damn thing. Now, he was breaking every other speed law there was, but he got the lights down. But, God. Those days.
In the 1960s, late, the guys that I hung around with all had hot cars. The one guy had a GTO. Another guy had a Plymouth 440. The other one had a Dodge 440. And I hung around with them. They always said, "You're supposed to be a hot driver." Well, I do pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? The old man had to prove his point one night. I got out of the car and they said, "This is a 150-mile-an-hour car." I said, "I've done that before." So here I am. I'm taking off in the car. I'm running down a back road, gravel road.
Yeah.
Doing about 110. Wouldn't you know it, I went right by a cop that was on a side road. He chased my ass. And I'm going, there ain't no way in the hell his 338 or whatever that was again for the smaller engine was going to catch my ass.
Yeah.
And I blew him away. But boy, I'll tell you, the cops were sure as shit looking for my ass.
Yeah, I'll bet.
And I want to sit back and say we do have some Canadian representation right now. We have Zax in the house.
Hello, Zach.
Zach, hello.
How you doing? And you're calling us gentlemen.
Uh-oh, we're in trouble. What did we do?
Yeah. I know.
Old
Zach.
Oh, he's back is by calling us gentlemen.
Crocodile Bundy.
I am multilinguist. I speak English, and my next major language is vulgar.
Is that from the Vulgate Bible, the Vulgate language?
Got that from the Army, didn't ya?
Yeah.
They're related
Me too.
somehow.
I may be an Army sergeant, because he could swear better and had a bigger voice than anybody else.
And I'm looking
I
forward
was
to
just a
meeting
major
Zach.
pain in the ass.
Ah,
Is that before or after the Army? Now that you're in the
Well, they still call me a pain in the ass.
I
A
thought so.
major. As soon as I found out that I was a major when I retired, they referred to me as a major pain in the ass.
I was going to ask what your rank was.
I had 3 stripes up. The rockers were negotiable. I held them on with Velcro.
Oh.
Well, I do have some bad news I have to report. Hey, Salty Texas C! How
Hey,
you
Salty.
doing,
there.
sir?
Hey, Salty!
And DJ
Welcome,
Ronnie
man.
G. Oh, wow, look at that.
Welcome.
They're coming out of
My
the woodwork.
goodness.
People are brave to
Awesome.
come into the channel. Do have some bad news, though. 24/7 Fusion Media is having some internet issues down there in Texas where he's at, and he's moving. So unfortunately, the show on Sunday is going to be postponed until about August.
Oh,
Right?
shit.
Yeah, I know. I don't get my show.
We've got this strange, because I'm down here in South Texas, and we have this strange low pressure bubble right over the Gulf, and it's just spitting storms out all over the place, over the entire Gulf Coast. I'm about an hour and 20-minute drive from the Gulf Coast in South Texas. And
Yeah.
it's just spitting these storms out, and it's not moving. The center isn't moving. It's just sitting there spinning.
I hate that.
I got a friend in Houston, and he's a computer geek, mega. He came out of, he's actually from Wisconsin, and they offered him a hell of a job down there in Houston with this computer outfit, and he took it. Well, he's making a hell of a lot of money. He's happy as all shit. And I keep going, why in the hell could you be on when everybody else is getting knocked out? He said, simple. We're on satellite.
And I just want to let people know, of course, in the chat, if you want to come in, I do have the link in the chat. So if you feel brave enough to come in and as Raymond would say, into the pool or into the water with us.
Zach,
you're
you got
more
the
than
courage to come on in?
Dip your toe, dip a toes, see if it's cold.
Salty, how about you?
Mm-hmm. So just want to let people know that don't be shy, and we're kind of friendly.
Yeah, I mean, because
More
I'm
than
the director, I'm the nursing director over trauma services. We have the only level 1 trauma facility down here in the Rio Grande Valley. I've been going through meetings with all the other hospitals in the area, from Brownsville up through Rio Grande City.
Wow.
And I've been having to meet with all of them so that we can get in one, because if we do get a hurricane, we have to be we're going to be the only hospital at a category 5. My hospital will be the only one still open, and we'll be having to take patients that are evacuating from the other hospitals, from Brownsville and Harlingen and Weslaco. And we're going to be the only ones open.
You got that industrial strength coffee, right?
Huh?
You got the industrial strength coffee.
Oh, yeah. It's nasty stuff, man. Keeps you awake. Makes you
I'll tell
sleep.
you, it's been about 50 years since I've been in Brownsville. But I've been there.
Yeah. Hadn't changed much. Well, SpaceX is launching had some launches out there off of Boca Chica.
Yeah. That's what I hear that.
They just did a
Elon must be
test. Yeah, I think he lives in Austin, where Tesla is. But yeah, no, they did I think it was a week or so ago, maybe a couple of weeks ago. Their spaceship, I think it was Spaceship 10. They just did a test launch off of Boca Chica a couple of weeks ago down here. That was a big thing. There's not a lot of news in the Rio Grande Valley. The usual news in the Rio Grande Valley, because we're on the border of Mexico, is the drug cartel.
You better believe it.
That's
so it's
one
nice
of the
to hear about
reasons that I
rockets
stay
now.
so busy.
Mhm.
Of course, the guy
I
that
went
I
over
thought I
to
heard.
Mexico from Brownsville.
They got
Well,
a great zoo. I will tell you, if you want to go to a great zoo, Brownsville, Gladys Porter Zoo in Brownsville, Texas, is ranked nationally. They're in
Really?
the top 10. Oh
Cool.
yeah, Gladys Porter Zoo. It's a fantastic zoo. I'm looking forward to my grandson getting old enough for me to take him out there.
Sounds
Oh,
good.
he's gonna love it.
They got
Gonna
huge.
love
I
it.
had some
It's
experiences with
I mean, with
Mexico.
all these beautiful natural environments. I mean,
Oh,
Yeah.
big natural environments. One of my favorite is the elephants.
Mm.
mhm.
Really?
Because they just got all these elephants, but they're like in their natural African habitats. What it looks like.
Yeah.
The polar bears
Well,
are really
not
good too.
anyway.
But you got to go see the polar bears in the winter.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. They tried doing that with the Minnesota Zoological Garden up here. I haven't been there in I don't. Well, last time we were there, but we were just there for the movie at the IMAX. But I haven't been in the zoo and I don't know how long. I always went to the St. Paul Como. It means a small little zoo, but it's a great little free zoo with the conservatory off of it.
It's
Where you can
been a
go
long
through,
time.
see all the flowers. They
Yeah.
have this nice little area for the polar bears, and the polar bears are kind of pressing up against the glass, going, "I want to break through so I can get those kids. They look tasty. They look tasty."
Yeah.
You know?
I'm going to
Yeah.
sound faggy, but I want the damn gardens.
Mm.
I love flowers. I love roses. I love lilies.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not the same guy.
Never hanging from chandeliers, though, right? No polar bears hanging from chandeliers, waiting to stump.
Oh no, no.
Snortopoopuses. Gotta be careful of snortopoopuses
Our
Well,
hanging
that
from
was
there.
the polar bear exhibit down here. There's no glass. Yeah.
yeah.
We don't have glass here.
Mm. No,
I
really.
really feel sorry for the polar bears because you don't ain't got the climate for them.
Mm.
Yeah. No, the polar bear exhibit down here. It's what they have is they have chilled pool.
Mm. And I'm sure they love it.
No, we don't. But they have chilled pools, and you'll use and the
Yeah.
pool is between their natural habitat space and the railing where you can look down on them, and you'll find them swimming
Mhm.
around in
Oh.
that chilled pool all day long.
Hey Raymond, how you doing? We're just talking about you. I hope you're
Oh, they
feeling better,
do, and
brother.
it's just fun to sit there and just it's a bit
And
mesmerizing to watch them just. Amen.
and looks like Mike Pacific 414, or as we were teasingly calling him, and Phil McCracken. Oh, he got his
Yeah. Awesome.
Phil. He's stopping by. He got his AARP card. He's 3 years younger than me. He's getting his AARP card.
You got your AR card. Great. Fantastic.
Discount at Old Country Buffet.
We don't have those no more.
No, that's
Not up
true.
here.
The one here pulled out all of a sudden over a Saturday night. Didn't even tell
Yeah.
the employees.
The best we got is Golden Corral, but they're in the northern suburbs. It's a little bit of a hike to get up to them.
We used to have one of those here. I think the closest one is in Northumberland, about 100 miles south. But they were always known for their great big potatoes. And
And you're right, Phil. Justice for the elderly.
I haven't eaten at Golden Corral in years.
Oh, and Denny's. He wants to go to Denny's. You know what? My first experience with Golden Corral was in Marshall, Minnesota, which is in the southern west corner of Minnesota.
mhm.
And when I was dating my former wife, and even after that, we'd always go down to the Golden Corral in Marshall. And they went belly up and became a Chinese restaurant, which didn't bother me at all because, just go in there and just. Hey, you take care. Have a good night there, Phil. Enjoy your
Yep.
Denny's discount.
Awesome.
You mean, poor Raymond, you mean Sandra didn't tie the string around your tooth yet and hook it up to Snoopy and say fetch? Oh.
Yeah.
That's why I suggested that do is tie that, do the old fashioned way.
Right.
Yep. The old ways are best,
Mm-hmm.
as long as you have a trauma dressing.
Yeah. But my heart goes out to you, Raymond. I hope you're feeling better and I hope you can get that tooth taken care of
Definitely.
soon.
Oh, yeah.
And I just want to say you did a great job. You did a great job on Saturday, even though you're under the weather. You did a great job. So
And I enjoyed the show tonight too. That was fun.
sorry I missed that. You know, I don't know
Rocky's
why
Horror
they did not notify me about that show. That made me mad. But I was busy doing some stuff when he was running. The other day we gave the dogs a bath, and that was a job and a half right there.
Yeah, I
Especially,
was Ray. I was still at work tonight, Raymond. Sorry.
but I'm going to check out that ferret show. We gotta. I did ask if there was ferret showers, and I was told no. So that kind of made me sad, but I'll still watch.
It came up.
I'm sure it did. He's that poor guy's not going to let him down, especially if we got Fetfire out there with his memes.
Yeah. He's having a good time with that. I love it.
See, Raymond wants ferrets. I want to have powers.
I want raw ravens.
Yeah. How could it not?
I got.
You and Sandra both.
I want to split the tongue on the raven and teach him to say nevermore.
Yeah.
Oh, that was your backdrop?
Of course, you know, the long suffering can get her own raven that says furthermore.
What you talking about? You're talking about not the long suffering. You're talking about the Mrs.
Oh, yes.
Man.
Yes.
But the long suffering, she went have an owl. She loves owls.
They're fun to watch, especially when the
That's-
head is doing this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I
heard
used to
about
have
that.
an owl in my backyard when I first built this house.
Mm.
He sat out on the far tree, and I would go out and I'd talk to him.
Yeah.
I'd who at him, and he'd respond.
Yeah.
He was my buddy. And then suddenly one day he wasn't there anymore. I was really brokenhearted.
Yeah.
I hope
There's
that-
a video on YouTube, and it's a baby barn owl. And I used to have a camera in there, and it was reacting to the very first thunderstorm. It's the very first thunderstorm, and it's very cute. You kind of feel bad for it, but it's a really cute video.
Yeah.
A little baby owl, and it's a thunderstorm going on outside, and it's ducking down and weaving around.
Yeah.
They're so cute.
But I hope Sandra's doing okay. And you know,
Yeah.
one thing, plenty of liquids that helps. I found that helped out. So, Raymond, you and Sandra, you're my prayers and hearts. I want you to get better soon.
Yeah, I
Always.
love you guys. I wish you guys lived closer. I'd make you my homemade chicken noodle soup. My son
Oh,
says
good.
it'll regrow a limb.
Yeah. And you're not Jewish either. I mean, but you know, Raymond grew up on chicken soup. I'm sure.
Yeah.
That stuff will cure anything.
Anything. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Some of the chicken soup I had growing up cured me of chicken soup.
What was it, Campbell's?
No, it was a homemade. And God love my mother. She can cook a lot of things and really well. Chicken is not one of them. But, no.
I got
I use canned chicken in my soup.
She's upstairs, so she can't hear me.
You're safe for now until the replay.
Yeah.
For
Until I
some
get
strange
up the
reason,
stairs and the door slams in my face and I go falling backwards.
Mm.
Of course, the cat likes to do that too.
You know
Open
what
the
I haven't
door,
had in a long time?
he runs down.
Chicken
for some
dumplings.
strange reason, my grandparents
I made chicken and dumplings a few months ago.
weak.
Ooh, that sounds good.
What was that?
I
What's
made
that
some
now?
chicken and dumplings back. I guess I made it back in like February. I made some chicken and dumplings. It's more of a cold. It's hot down here now.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
back then it was cooler. Yeah, by cooler I mean 70 degrees.
Yeah. That's the thing. And I go to the Chinese restaurants and all the variety of chicken they have there.
Yeah.
The stick,
Yeah,
broccoli chicken without the broccoli. I don't do broccoli.
No.
And
me neither.
General Tso's and lemon chicken and sesame chicken, and now
Yeah.
I'm hungry for chicken. Yeah, I do love chicken. In fact,
Well,
somewhere I
Thing,
about
I
chicken.
grew up with chicken and I hated it. My time in Southeast Asia sucked big time.
Well, see, they don't do chicken right until they get here.
Kind of a funny story. When we had the one Chinese place here in town, uh, of course, along Suffrey and I, and we took the kids up to the place, and they had teriyaki chicken on the stick.
Mm-hmm.
And my
Oh, yeah.
daughter goes, here, have some to my stepdaughter, and she goes, no, I only eat American chicken.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Oh,
And of course, some countries use those four-legged chickens that have tails and go meow.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Yes.
I
Wilkes-Barre
think the
was one of
Bundys ate that once, didn't they? On the Bundys?
Yeah.
There you go. I
Oh,
threaten this
there he
guy
is.
all the time when he's bad. You want to go down to the Chinese restaurant, buddy? You want to go down there? Oh yeah, love you there. You nice and plump. I threaten the dogs with that too.
Yeah.
Not shitting you one bit. When I was in Saigon, we went into a restaurant. As we walked in, there were these cages of dogs on each side. You got to pick out which one you wanted to eat.
It's like the lobster tank.
That's sad.
That is sad.
Well,
Come
it's
on
like
in and pick out a puppy.
yeah. Well,
Gives walking the dog a whole new meaning.
I was watching a show. Some chef up in Canada, and he was kind of found by Anthony Bourdain before he died and all that. And the entire episode, they're talking about, or at least part of the episode, was horse tartare. Instead of having steak, it was made out of horse because they eat horse up there. No,
Yeah.
but which I found absolutely fascinating. Horse tartare. And as I've always sat back and said, no offense to anybody who loves horses, I consider a horse a fast cow. But that's beside the point.
Well, I just can't imagine eating spaghetti and horse balls.
Yeah.
Wilbur, stay away from those, Wilbur. I don't want to be a gelding, Wilbur. I want to stay a stallion, Wilbur.
When you go to Europe
Mm-hmm.
and you walk in and they say something on the menu,
Mm-hmm.
be very careful because some of the things that are referred to as beef
Mm-hmm.
also refers to horse.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've heard that.
yeah, because there was something in the exchange of the languages that one was European, one was English, and they got switched back and forth somehow. I don't remember the whole deal, but yeah.
The European word for beef means a large animal you can eat,
Mm-hmm.
which means a horse or a moo cow. And I have eaten a horse. I was in an Indian rendezvous, and I'm walking along, and these dear, sweet, loving Indians were there, and they offered me a meal because I obviously didn't have a place to eat in the teepees.
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh, yes, thank you." And I ate it. And the fellow next to me that I brought with me, who was actually from Scotland, Bill McCaskey, Bill said, "Something looks funny about that meat." I said, "Yeah." What do you think is funny? "Well, it's pink." "Oh, yeah, it has to be." "Why?" "Because it's dog."
Yeah.
Mm. I like dogs too much to hug and kiss.
Yeah. Anything that smiles at me, I can't eat.
I've had cow smile at me.
That's why I torture it before to kill it.
That's why I don't look at cows.
Cows
It's not
are
Ed on.
the cutest of the food group.
No, I like my steak to be actual cow.
When I went in years back, and Barron knows about it, there was a moo cow that they were going to be butchering.
Yeah.
And my brother-in-law looked at me and said, "Do you want to put it down?" I said, "Shit, yeah, no problem." He said, "Well, you guys shoot it right here." And I said, "Yeah, I know." Kind of looked at me. "You ever done that before?" "Yeah." So I put the pistol against the moo cow's head, pulled the trigger. It was bang, move, thud, and into the garage. And guess what?
Hmm.
Became steak.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yum,
Yeah, I
yum,
always
yum.
said for Christmas I wanted a cow and a blowtorch and a chainsaw and a little ketchup.
Aran,
I put
you're
ketchup on.
absolutely right about what you're saying. It was moo. It wasn't moo. It wasn't goat. It was arf arf.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, but I want to tell you one thing though that I really loved when I was in Norway was moose.
Oh,
That
yeah.
tasty. Oh,
Baron, do you remember that salmon that they put down? It
oh
was
yeah,
so
about that
huge, it
thick.
filled the whole plate. And the
Yeah.
center area is where they put the veggies.
Yeah. Yeah. We have bison here. In fact, about
Hmm.
5 miles up the road, there's a bison farm. And the one restaurant serves bison burgers. And some people love them. I think they're a little too gamey for me. But you get that and a lot of venison, deer meat, deer sausage, all that kind of thing. Because we have a lot of deer and hunters.
Hmm.
And frankly, with all the deer on the roads, I'm in favor of hand grenades and automatic weapons for deer season. Whatever it takes to get those suckers off the roads, I'm happy. But yeah, people love a lot of that stuff here.
Put a snowplow in the front of your vehicle.
A who?
Put a snowplow on the front of your vehicle.
Would like to, as soon as I get a vehicle that runs.
Well, it's kind of funny when I started, seeing the long suffering, and she was starting to stay down here in our beloved little town. I literally lived on Yellow Brick Road. Believe it or not, Yellow Brick Road, and it's about a mile long road. And the southern part of it is right where off the old highway was, but where all the shops are. But as you went up north the road, it instantly started turning into where there's still forest and all that, or trees or whatever, not forest. And I told her, I said, well, you take off in the morning, it's dark and all that. You just be careful. I said, if you drive up Yellow Brick Road, I said, there's deer. She thought I was joking. But then she comes back and goes, I thought you were joking about it, but I saw 3 deer on the way in, or I can't remember how many deer on the way up there. And I said, yeah, there's. I wasn't kidding. They're up there. They hide it. They love, right here in the heart of our town. They
Yeah.
more than happy.
Yeah.
And of course, we got coyotes running around. We always get the coyote.
Yeah.
People panicking over. There's a coyote singing tiny, and it's like, yeah. We got coyotes around. Just make sure
Yeah.
Fifi's in at night. That's all.
Yeah, we had a coyote that got my nephew's cat about 8 years ago. And he was broken up, torn up, livid, and there are no coyotes anywhere around him right now because between him and his buddies, they shot them all.
Mm-hmm.
You get them, and in the deeper woods, you get the coy dogs, and
Oh,
they're
yeah.
worse than the coyotes. They're just plain angry to be alive.
I came home late one night, and I turned off the side road off the highway, and went up the road that would take me to my house. And as I'm driving up it, I see what looks like a dog at first, loping along the sidewalk. I got
Yeah.
up a little closer, and that ain't no dog. That's a damn coyote.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had him run through my backyard. The other day here, I just had 3 deer run across the backyard. And when the
Yeah.
4th one came through, I was pissed because I didn't get the fucking gun out.
Gotta love it. Although the best one I saw here, oh God, late 90s, mid to late 90s, we had a hell of a snowstorm up here, and my buddy and I went out rail fanning because, we'll chase trains in any weather. And we're going along the one country road here, and it's, about 8-10 inches of snow. I'm driving my happy little Chevy S10 with four-wheel drive that never let me down. And we see this thing cross the road in front of us. And it's too small to be a dog, too big to be regular cat. And then I noticed the little points on the ears, the lynx.
Whoa.
One of the, or bobcat, whichever you prefer to call them. But I'd never seen anything like that up here before. I thought they were all gone decades and decades ago. But sure enough, there he is. He stops, he looks right at us, says, "The hell are you looking at?" and walks away.
Yep, sounds about right.
In '69, I was working at a place up in the top of Makoshika State Park in Montana. Thank you kindly.
Yeah.
And while I was working there, we had a guy that was a cat lover. Well, the whole story about his cat died is, immaterial almost. But the guy was devastated. I drove along and I happened to see something on the side of the road. I stopped. I got out. I took a look. There was a dead bobcat and a live one, a little kit.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to leave it to die.
Yeah.
Obviously, Mama or got killed. I picked it up and I brought it back to the transmitter site. And I gave it to this yahoo. I brought it in. He said, "What are you doing with that?" And I said, "It's a bobcat. I'm going to call it DNR." No. It's a cute little kitty. Which was from New York.
Yeah.
He took the damn thing. He thought it was a cat. He says, "Why in the world? What happened to its tail?" I said, "It's a bobcat."
Mm-hmm.
And the guy didn't even understand. And he was so happy with that little kid.
Yeah.
Years later, I ran into him down in Denver, Colorado, not actually Grand Junction. I was amazed that he was still working there.
Yeah.
And everybody looked at me and they go, "You worked with him up in Montana?" And I go, "Yeah, I did." He says, "What about that bobcat he had?" I said, "Yeah, it's all true." They looked at me. "Are you the guy that gave it to him?" I said, "No, he's the guy that took it from me."
Yeah.
And the guy lived in a, what do you call him again? The Airstream. He said he had to get rid of it.
Yeah.
No, what did you do? Well, the only ones who would take it was the zoo.
Mm.
He said, "Ripped the shit out of my place. It's shit everywhere." And I couldn't help it. I laughed my ass off. And everybody around there kept asking me, "Is this all true? Is this all true?" I said, "Yeah, it is."
Yeah. Yeah, they are not little fluffy.
They will
No.
never be civilized.
No. But
They
it's
want
watch
to.
people try.
Oh, it is. People think they're smarter than they are. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
Well,
See,
the
I
big
know.
problem is you get people from out east that think the milk comes from the damn store.
Yeah. Yeah. What was that one? Somebody seriously got on one of these PETA videos or something and said, "Well, you shouldn't kill animals for meat. You should get it from the store like everybody else."
Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Mhm.
yikes. Yikes.
Yeah.
And these people vote. Ting.
Now
Years
you know
back,
what pulp culture is down the toilet. These are the people
Yeah.
that
years
Yeah,
back,
right.
1964. In 1964,
Yeah.
they had some people from out east that were, I don't know what the hell they were, but they came out to a ranch or farm, really, in Minnesota here, in my home turf.
Yeah.
And they looked at the moo cows. Oh, they're so lovely. Well, one of the guys informed them, don't go into that pen area.
Yeah.
And they go, why? You won't like it. Don't do it. The dumb son of bitches crawled over the top of the fence. And what did they crawl into?
The bull pit.
You got it exactly. And he had horns.
Yeah.
And I kid you not, it was so funny. I couldn't stop laughing. It was on the ground, rolling around.
You gotta love it. Because when we were up here, I had to go up Route 407 or Route 92 Ransom Road and on up. And there's farms on Ransom Road all the way up to Clark Summit. And one of them was my boss's husband's farm, a guy named Pete. And as I'm passing by right in the area where you turn off to go to his farm, I've got my big Chevy Blazer full of furniture, and I happen to look in the side mirror, and there's a bull chasing the truck. And the next thing I know, there's a car next to the bull, gets ahead of the bull in the lane next to me, which is the wrong place to be if somebody's coming the other way. Mm-hmm. Pete gets out of the car with a baseball bat and cracks the bull across the face and dropped him right there.
Yep.
And his wife told me the next day, oh, yeah, he got the bull home okay. He's fine. A little stunned, but, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he used to have a problem with that bull getting out every so often. He got tired of it.
Oh, I don't blame him on that one. I mean, even cows, even cows, mother cows, they can get pretty aggressive too. If they think they're
shit, yeah, they do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as soon as they find out what A1 is for, holy cow.
Hey, take care, Raymond. Get some rest, and yes,
Bye, Raymond.
Yeah, Raymond.
Yeah, I'll swing by and bother you and be a pox on your pod.
Yep. Hey, Raymond. Get better, you and Sandra both.
Yes, give Sandra our love.
Feel better.
Good night, Arian.
Guys.
Raymond, who is the author of the Dolphin War, soon-to-be trilogy.
Yep.
Can't wait for the other book to come out with artwork by Fet for Hire. So, who did the artwork for the second and third book? And Raymond, I think, was saying when they do the re-release of the first book, the new print on that, he'll do the artwork for that one as well. So
awesome.
Yeah, I can't wait. Now I'm going to have to pick up that copy of the book because Raymond was saying he was not happy about the printing errors that were done on the first book.
Yeah.
I can understand that. Definitely, it's so.
Well, I mean,
it's like
the fact he got a book out at all, I'm thrilled.
Oh, I think so. I mean,
it's one of those things. I can get an idea for a good story, but I can never get past halfway. You know, it never ever goes anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But
and I describe his book as Tom Clancy meets space opera, and everything about that. Everything about that is a compliment too. So honestly, it's
cool stuff.
It is, yeah.
Well, have a lot of fun with it.
The Baron and I know a real man that's an author, and he writes basically historical fiction. All the people in there are real people, but he's kind of fleshed out his way.
Well, it's
he's a great author, and I know you've interviewed him before.
I haven't had him on my show yet. I have to get him on the show. So
Lars Walker has another book coming out. He's also over in Norway running around with, guess what? Viking ships.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I want a Viking ship.
Yeah,
I have been on one.
Really?
Actually, one but two. Cool. And they were in the water sailing. I went out in that damn boat, and I went, wow. Now, this is a regulation size Viking longship.
Yeah.
And they told me, well, you can go below deck. I can. They pulled out part of the flooring, and sure enough, there was a little ladder to go down. Now I am at the stern,
Right.
the ass end of the ship. I got down there and I looked at the immense mass that was ahead of me. This is an 80-foot long ship. Actually 89 feet. And I yelled out. Damn echo came back at me.
And this is the book cover for the reprint. He his first few books were through Baen Books, and then he lost contract with them. But it's The Year of the Warrior is the name of the first two books put together into one, and they should be available out there. And he's also has a few other ones. As I sit back and say, my favorite one actually of his was actually a more contemporary one called Troll Valley that he had.
They're on Amazon, right?
They should be on Amazon, Kindle, and I'm hoping he's looking at print, being able to do print with them, because I love to have hard copies of these because I hate ebooks. I
get the book.
Yeah, I love the books. I just love the books. So, but yeah, he's historical fiction or fantasy. I mean, it is a fantasy series that he has with this. He probably goes in there, but very well researched. He actually joined our Viking club and started doing live steel combat to get more of a feel of what combat would be like. He and I sparred many times.
That's awesome.
It's actually kind of funny because in the beginning there, when Lars was writing this stuff, we had a severe long talk. And I tried to explain to him what real combat was like. He didn't know. He listened to me really big time. And it changed his writing. I tried to explain to him what it was like to go after another person for real.
Yeah.
It ain't Hollywood. It ain't what have you. And what you feel inside your body, the fear, you have never felt more afraid you're going to die and more alive than you've ever felt.
Yeah.
And I think Wendy knows exactly what I'm saying.
Yep. I do. I was on a Black Hawk that got shot down in Afghanistan.
Don't want to do that.
Luckily, we weren't too far off the ground.
We
were hit by an RPG. So yeah, I don't know
Still,
exactly
with
what you're
those
talking
rotors
about.
flying around, hitting the ground, danger.
Yeah. We were just lifting off. We were about 70 feet off the ground whenever it hit us. But it only hit part. It kind of glanced off. It just knocked us out. It was just kind of knocked us down. It was a glancing hit.
Yeah.
I've got shrapnel in my right arm from it.
Oh, jeez. Scary.
I believe it.
But most importantly, we still have you. That's the important thing.
That's why I have a tattoo, a big old tattoo on my right forearm, because that's where most of the shrapnel went in.
Mm-hmm.
And so I covered the shrapnel scars with a tattoo, with a screaming eagle.
I've heard people do a lot of that sometimes with, when they have accidents. I mean, just in general, even just in life themselves, where they have something and then they turn it into a tattoo or something.
I was with the 101st. I turned it into a screaming eagle. I got a screaming eagle tattoo over it.
Neat.
They're a good unit.
You know what's really interesting is my grandfather in World War II, when the 101st was developed, my grandfather was a paratrooper over Germany, and he was one of the first members of the 101st.
Wow.
Wow.
They don't do paratroopers anymore. Now they just fly. Now we just rappel out of helicopters.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But back then they were paratroopers, and I ended up in the 101st, just like my grandfather.
Wendy, you'll probably appreciate this. When I was in, they used to say, "What falls from the sky? Bird shit and the 101st."
Damn straight. Damn straight. It's a hard fighting group of men there.
Yeah.
When I took,
I saw so many of those men take more than one shot, and if they still had a trigger finger and they were conscious, they kept shooting.
Yeah.
you know what I hate about Hollywood?
Hmm.
These dumb son of a bitches that shows guys coming down in parachutes, firing their M1s or whatever.
Yeah,
You ain't no way in hell you're going to do
no
that.
way. No.
Mhm.
Talk
Well,
about
that's
an
why it's
uncontrolled descent if you do that. Break
Yeah.
your friggin' legs.
And they always forget when these guys come out and they're jumping, what the hell is hanging down between their legs?
Yeah.
They never have it.
I am going to have to say this though. Here, awful subject. I'm going to start calling John Fez Dr. with that.
I was gonna say something. I like that, John. I've always wanted one of those when I smoked cigarettes. I always thought about getting one. Now
He
I
looks
might.
like FDR.
I got this in Allentown, actually Whitehall, right next to Allentown, got about 10 years ago. And I'd lost it when I moved back up home, and I only just found it a few weeks ago.
Ah.
Allentown, Pennsylvania, right?
Yeah, but it does have its own filter inside that you can replace. But yeah, it cuts down the harshness of it quite a bit,
Yeah.
Mhm.
which is nice.
It makes you look intellectual.
You know, I really feel cheated. I've never been to Allentown.
Oh, well, where is. Oh, I don't have it here. Shoot.
Mm.
I used to have a monocle sitting here.
Oh, monocle.
Yeah.
Lars has got a monocle.
That's what I understand. Our own Colonel Klink.
Yeah, he looks damn good in it too. Remember the song done about Allentown?
Oh, Billy Joel, yeah.
You got it.
Well, there's a story about that song. He got the lyrics about Allentown so wrong that when he played there or in Bethlehem, he wouldn't play that song. He was embarrassed as hell about it.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because especially the one line, they've taken all the coal from the ground. There's no coal anywhere near Allentown. It's all either up in the northern coal field or in the western coal field.
You got that right.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, from Carbondale through Scranton, Wilkes-Barre, and then down Shenandoah, Pennsylvania, that's your coal field. Allentown is way east of there. But
Oh yeah.
that and a few other lines that upset some people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're living here in Allentown. And I lived in Allentown for a little while. It ain't so great. 14th and Turner Street I lived on, and it wasn't too bad at that point, but by the time I left 3.5 years later, it was a war zone.
Oh yeah.
You know, every day I'd come home from work in the last couple of months at least, and somebody would be being arrested on the corner. And, you know, cop cars everywhere, and just not a fun place to be. So I got out of there and moved to the thriving metropolis of Palmerton, the best kept secret in Northeast Pennsylvania.
I got a couple of people that are good friends that live over on the east side of Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
And they're very profitable business people.
Mm-hmm.
Very profitable.
Well, you got some real Sharpies out here. You know, they do well, some of them.
And to listen to what they've got to tell about there, sometimes almost makes me go, you're shitting me.
We had, at one time, Allentown Wilkes-Barre rather, had a bigger economy than New York City because of all the railroads. And it was huge there. Scranton had the reputation of, you know, if you were putting on a play or something and taking it on the road, you played Scranton first. If it played Scranton and was successful, then you take it on the road. And that was back in your vaudeville days. But, you know, and later on, Peoria got that reputation also. Peoria, Illinois, I think it is.
The guys that I know live about 100, maybe 150 miles away from Philly.
Hmm.
And that puts them in the Gettysburg territory.
Oh yeah, they're down Lancaster Gettysburg way.
You got it.
Very cool area. Yeah, my sister lived in Gettysburg for a little while. She was a reenactor, and she was hired by this new park that was going to open up, a living history park. And they hired all these people to come in and do all the displays and the living history, and then all at once they closed down before they even opened.
Yeah,
Somebody got cold feet along the way.
you got it.
Sad situation, left her high and dry.
It was actually political.
Yeah, but it was a really nice area down there when I went down to see her. And of course, we go through the park, and I went through right after that Gettysburg movie come out. And my buddy Jody and we drove down, walked through the park, didn't realize you could drive through it.
Oh, yeah.
Cars going through it. And of course, I'm wearing my cowboy boots and wondering why my heel hurts, and there's a nail coming up through the bottom.
You got it.
But still, it was great to be there. Fun place.
Yeah, there's so many places out there.
Yeah.
And I've been to some really unique and unbelievable battle sites.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been to, there's a little place in Montana. And you know how that goes.
Little Bighorn?
You got it.
Yep.
I was there many years ago when I was young.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I'm going to tell you what really happened. I and the 3 friends that I was there with, we snuck in at night.
Yeah.
And we camped down on the battlefield. And during the fucking night, we heard all kinds of sounds and everything else. It freaked us the fuck out.
Yeah.
And this was for real. There was nobody there but us.
Yeah. Well, they had the similar experiences at Gettysburg when my sister was down there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's been like I've heard of things where like you can hear cannons going off and stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they had some voices they had been hearing and things like that. Her and her friends. And this was right around where Devil's Den was in the peach orchard in the wheat field. And just very screwy stuff. And, I'm a skeptic on that stuff up to a point. There's some things I've seen I can't explain. And there's, of course, what happened when my grandmother died. She'd been with Alzheimer's for years, just in a bed downstairs. And out back, there were the 2 big flower urns. Now, these were made of the valve stem and the steam dome, or the sand dome from steam locomotives from the Lehigh Valley Railroad, which my grandfather worked for and his father. And they turned the sand domes upside down, put them on these steam valves or steam valve casings. And when she died, both of those fell over.
Wow.
And there was the nurse with her who saw the whole thing. But she said she'd been fighting death, and then when she went, they just went right over. And it's like, wow.
I was a skeptic till I started working in the night shifts in the operating room doing trauma years ago.
Well, you had mentioned about that one girl who was in it. I think she was showed up in
the 16-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah. She had been she. This was in the middle of the night years ago. She pulled out in front of a tow truck, and the winch of the tow truck went through her driver's door and impaled into her. And as the energy of the vehicles came apart, she was pulled out onto the road. And none of us here would have survived it. But she was 16 years old. She had a 16-year-old heart, so it was still pumping.
Yeah.
So we took her up to the operating room, and we couldn't save her. She just had injuries not conducive with life.
Yeah.
And while we were cleaning the room, we still had her body in the room.
Mhm.
Because we have to keep the body, once a patient dies in the operating room, you have to keep them in your custody until the coroner shows up to transfer them.
Right.
You know, the chain of custody thing.
Mhm.
And first of all, we were cleaning the room, and Olga and David were in there cleaning. I had actually just walked out, and I had some trash bags that I was moving out of the room. And I heard them both gasp, so I went back into the room. They were pointing into the far corner of the room past her body on the
Yeah.
table and said that they saw her standing in the corner staring at them. And I thought, all right. So they were spooked. And they were
Yeah.
saying, we don't want her in here. Let's move her out into the hallway at least. So there was a lot of red stuff on the floor. Just
Mhm.
to not be too graphic. So we cleared a pathway for a stretcher, moved her to the stretcher, put her out into the hallway, and a little bit later we got the room cleaned up. I was actually pulling supplies from the supply room so we could get the room reset back up for a new trauma. And I had turned around and I could see her standing there staring at me.
Yeah.
If that hadn't happened to me, if somebody told me it was going to happen to me, I'd have told them that they needed to go see a psychiatrist. Honest
Yeah.
to God. But
Yeah. There's
she
that
just had
line
this
between what's real and what's in the mind, and I'm
yeah.
not the one
And
qualified to answer.
I could see the cabinets behind her.
Yeah.
She wasn't like solid, but the
Yeah.
look on her face, and I just remember I just told her, I said, look, I said, you pulled out in front of a tow truck. She had tested positive for everything: pot, alcohol, cocaine, heroin, LSD, everything. Her entire drug screen was positive all the way down the list. And
Yeah.
I told her, I said, you've been doing a lot of drugs. You pulled out in front of a tow truck. This isn't our fault.
Yeah.
We tried to save you.
Mhm.
You did this to yourself. And she just disappeared right in front of me.
Yeah.
And, but, you know, before that, there had been weird things that had happened in the operating room, but that was kind of a turning point for me as a skeptic. I'm not a skeptic
Yeah.
anymore because of what I witnessed.
Yeah.
But, you know, I mean, there's been other strange things, but that just really, that was just so freaky. I almost wanted to be tested to make sure somebody didn't drug me.
Yeah.
I don't blame you.
If I may,
Mm.
please say something
Yes.
from William Shakespeare. There are more powers in heaven and earth than your mere mind can comprehend, Horatio.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
I believe it.
And I believe factually from my own experience, where violence has happened, I don't believe the spirits are there,
Mhm.
but I believe their energy is there.
Yeah.
And
There's,
you
there's
walk.
an energy that's imprinted into the place.
Pardon?
An energy from them that is still imprinted, an energy of the memory.
Yes.
And in some cases, there was one in England. I think it was actually in Cornwall. There was an old bar or tavern, I guess they would call it, that was used for trials back in, I guess, 1600s, you know, that area. And for many years in, you know, after that, up into the 20th century, at night you could hear the sounds of a, you know, a gavel, people murmuring, people screaming, you know, that sort of thing. And they did a test on the walls, and they found out the walls were made with sand that had this property of actually being like recording tape.
Yeah.
And under certain atmospheric conditions, it would cause that the crystal of the sand to vibrate and give off these sounds.
Yeah.
Very screwy. I don't pretend to understand the whole science of it, but you know,
Yeah.
just weird.
Yeah.
But like you say, more things in heaven and earth.
Yeah.
You never know what's out
Can I
there.
put something that's kind of historical?
Sure.
In the 1800s, 1700s, the person who was going to be hanged for a crime was taken down the road in a wagon And they got to the point of where the gallows was hanging there, and they stopped because there was a pub right there. They asked them, "Do you want to have one last drink?" Guess what?
I would.
I
They
would.
said yes.
Oh yeah.
They fell off the wagon. If they didn't, and they were hung, guess what? They were on the wagon.
Yeah.
And that's where the expression comes about being off the wagon and having a drink.
Yeah.
Falling off the wagon.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. I'm going to tell you right. I'm a historical fact of bullshit history. Stuff that nobody gives a shit about. But I know about it because I've studied it.
Yeah.
And yeah, the Baron knows that. I'm absorbed in it.
Yeah.
And there are so many things that have happened, expressions that we use, expressions that we say, and we don't know where they came from.
Yeah.
I got to confess right now, good old Baron there is a volume of that. And if he ever wants to open up his mouth, start shooting off, you're going to hear shit you ain't ever heard before.
Probably stuff I haven't heard before either.
Do I need to
There
make
was-
myself another drink?
That's the thing, and there's a lot of historical stuff in the newspapers of the time, and going back into 1800s, there's some stories that are obviously embellished, and there are others that you got to kind of keep an open mind on them all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
But one of them, down the road here, about 100 miles in Jim Thorpe, was where the trial of the Molly Maguires was held. And they were,
Really?
yeah, the militant coal miners. And when Black Jack Kehoe was hanged, they took him into the jail in town, Carbon County Jail. It's still there. And before they took him to be hanged, he put his hand up on the wall of his cell. That handprint is still there.
I think I've heard about that before.
Yeah,
I have.
It's still there.
Wow.
And it's a beautiful
Yeah, they
place.
tried to paint over it, haven't they? They tried painting over it, and it's still, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful little town anyway. Especially now they got Reading and Northern has another steam locomotive running, but it really is like the old days in that town. They've preserved it very well, and you've got Asa Packer's mansion, Robert Packer's mansion, and a few other interesting places around there. But that's one of the most well-known ghost stories from down there is how his handprint survived all these years. That was back in the 1880s, I believe, or 1890s.
Yeah.
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 But interesting stuff. And you find this in many different places.
There are weird things.
Well, in West Wyoming, that's between Wilkes-Barre and West Pittston, there's Queen Esther's Rock. And Queen Esther was an Indian queen. When the Wyoming massacre happened, I guess it was 2 of her sons were killed. And she brought some of the prisoners from 40 Fort over to where this rock was and bashed their heads in on that rock. And nobody knows if she actually used a big sledgehammer or another rock, or if she just had them grabbed by the arms and slammed into it. But to this day, when it rains, that rock still bleeds. And they found it. It's got a big cage over it. And there's a historic marker with it. But, yeah, a lot of crazy stuff out there.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing I've always been is a history nut.
Mm-hmm.
I was addicted when I was a little kid, I can tell you how the Civil War all happened.
Yeah.
I can tell you what battles happened, who, what, where, why, and when.
Mhm.
All courtesy of my damn brother. He hooked me on it. He hooked me on mafia. He hooked me on history.
Yeah.
And if anyone ever is going to find my corpse,
Mhm.
it's going to be a needle up my arm,
Mhm.
feeding history into my veins.
Yeah, that's kind of how I am. Because I started, you know, really early on with the railroad history because I come from a railroad family.
Hmm.
And over time that expanded into, U.S. history, the Rev War, the Civ War, and on up through that. And then in recent years, clarifying a lot of that and finding things in newspapers.com, God bless them, that nobody knows. I mean, in Pittston, I'm about the only person who knows about the drowning of the McGowan sisters and what happened to Walter Lane, the guy who tried to save them and ended up being charged with their murder by negligence.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
he ended up being what in that day was what we call canceled, completely shunned, so bad that he went and joined the British Army, ended up in India, and well, they had shipwrecked in the China Sea. He ended up in India, got fever there, ended up getting posted out of there to South Africa, and I think this was Second Boer War. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Um, Ended up getting wounded in a battle there, and then came home, and things didn't get better, and he disappeared from the historic record the night he tried to rob his mother and father's house, and ran off to the railroad yard and said he was going to throw himself under a train. They did find a guy, but they don't know if it was him. But this was 1893 was when the girls drowned, and it was 10 years later when he came back. But I'm about the only person in the area that knows about that, because it's just one of those things that got hidden away.
Yeah.
And even the current survivors from the McGowan family didn't know about that. That's kind of screwy.
Hmm.
James J. Hill. Everybody knows him from Railroad.
Mhm.
You want to see his house? Go to
Sure.
St. Paul, Minnesota. It's restored.
No kidding.
Yep. Well, not
Awesome.
fully restored. Unfortunately, some of it's still. When it comes around to the James J. Hill House, part of it's still being used as offices for the university or some government, and they haven't been able to get many of the furnishings back because they were all passed along through there. But what they do have of the house that you can see is absolutely fascinating to look at, and
Wow.
but that is yeah, that's in St. Paul there. That's uh, it's a nice mansion. It really
I love
is.
those old mansions. They're beautiful.
Oh yeah, I mean
So,
up north we have the Glen Sheen, which is known for the area about the murder that was done back in 1974 or so.
yeah.
One of the last heiresses or whatever that was uh, killed by her what was it, adopted daughter and her husband or ex-husband. I
Yeah.
can't remember.
Mhm. Hmm.
And that was the big thing. And of course, whenever we did tours through there, they always made mention that never talk about it. Now they are opening up and talking about it
Yeah.
as we go through there. And of course, you walk through the room where it happened. It's like, yeah, this is where it happened. But it's a lovely mansion up there. Lovely
Yeah.
mansion. That's
Oh, you better believe it is.
and the
Well,
grounds are beautiful too. I mean,
another great place is in Connecticut. Gillette Castle was
oh,
completely restored, and that belonged to William Gillette, who was an actor who popularized Sherlock Holmes, and was the first one with the pipe and the deerstalker hat and the cape.
mhm.
And beautiful place. It's a stone castle he built himself, and the interior is just mind-boggling. Wonderful place, and it's right on the Thames River in Connecticut. And I think there's a boat tour goes down there too. Yeah, quite a place. And Pennsylvania has a bunch of really nice places. Stegmeyer Mansion in Wilkes-Barre was completely restored, and they do these various things like big tea parties and things like that, and then you tour the mansion. Beautiful stuff. But yeah, I'm amazed with what's actually been preserved, because I know a lot of stuff we lost in the hurricane, 50 years ago, when Flood Agnes hit. And Wilkes-Barre, West Pittston, everywhere in between and down the river was completely devastated. But I'm just amazed with what's left. I wouldn't think that would be that much.
Well, exactly.
Especially the old furniture, the old Victorian furniture with, velvet all over it. Just awesome stuff.
All the work that they did to make those, I mean, just the craftsmanship and it's just amazing, and the fact that it survives is even more so.
Yeah,
it's like when you watch those antique road shows.
Yeah, that's it.
History has to be preserved, good, bad, or indifferent.
Well, yeah.
I did a speech on that in the Masonic Lodge, because I'm a historian of my lodge, and my speech was during a district deputy visit, so we had all the other lodges in our district represented, and I told them that you need to get a historian in your lodge and preserve your history, so that people don't forget the men who built that lodge and built your cities, and you find out about their relatives, wives, sons, daughters, and where they went. And you'll find a lot of their names are still alive today. And it's important to preserve that stuff, because there's a lot of traditions that are being lost, even in Masonry, because nobody researched the history on it.
Well, even within, again, our pulp culture now that we have, how we're trying to preserve that and keep it what it was about and what was important about it. I mean, it goes through all that. And I mean, it goes beyond ignorance. It goes to complete total morality, because people don't want to hear or know about it, and they go off in their own way because they think they know more because they read a book, or they saw an episode, or they saw a movie, and they know everything about this. And they
look at the guy that look at the writer for the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. He didn't even watch Revenge of the friggin' Sith.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, give me a break. How many people in this world have seen that movie and could have been a writer and done better?
Right.
That's it. And the two words in the English language I hate most are revisionist historian.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Change what it is, because it doesn't fit our narrative.
Exactly what we mean, because you went through it. And how in the hell are you rewriting what you did?
Yeah.
If I were George Lucas, I would be so pissed off right now.
He is.
I'd be even more. I wouldn't be able to keep my mouth shut.
Well, that's the thing.
Don't shut, Wendy. Open up.
Yeah.
You don't want me to.
Yes, I do.
Well, you might be under contracts, but
I'm not under contract. I'm just so frustrated with it.
Yeah.
Jimmy and we decided, because, well, you know what? We heard so much about this Obi-Wan Kenobi series. So what we did, Friday afternoon, when we got home from work, we got the Disney Plus subscription. We watched all 6 episodes, and then we canceled the subscription in less than 24 hours.
Yeah.
I mean, and so we're trying to put a positive spin on this. And so the only thing we could come up with that was positive was, at least they didn't make Kenobi and Vader suck face.
Yeah.
They probably were thinking about it.
I wouldn't doubt it.
And of
Felt
course,
like the only positive we had was that at least they didn't make Vader and Kenobi make out.
yeah. Well, I'm waiting for that Grand Inquisitor to come back as Snoke. Mark my words.
Right? Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised.
No, everything they're
Oh.
doing is they made it known. Everything they're doing now is a path to the sequel trilogy. They give it legitimacy. And
Yeah.
of course, if they're doing that, they're doomed for failure. They're doomed for
Well,
storytelling.
you know, what's
failure.
even more upsetting to me now, seeing this, because they just took Darth Vader and minimized him into a wuss.
Mm-hmm.
They minimized him.
That's
And
it.
that
I
is
mean,
upsetting. I mean, I was a Darth Vader fan ever since 1977. After I saw the first movie, I wanted to know what the hell was behind the mask.
yeah.
You know?
Well, that's the thing. They took a piece of granite and turned it into a buttered noodle.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
and the ending just didn't make sense to me. Obi-Wan could have killed him. He had him dead to rights, and he didn't do it.
Yeah.
And then
And
Vader
they-
didn't chase him down.
Yeah.
Made
And
no
then
sense.
the whole thing with the girl playing
Reva.
Princess Leia.
Oh yeah.
You know, that kid's going to end up like the one that played Anakin.
Yeah.
And the fact that, Obi-Wan knew about her negates a whole bunch of stuff in the original trilogy.
Yeah. Well, her knowing him
Yeah.
is completely shattering canon.
Yeah. And I mean,
Oh, yeah.
the only way they can get away with that is she gets hit in the head by Shemp and loses her memory of meeting him,
Exactly.
somewhere.
Have a
between-
good night, by the way, Pacific, and talk to you later,
Night.
man.
Take care, man.
Sorry, I don't want to drag this out, but it was frustrating.
I can believe that. But we are hitting the 2-hour mark, so I think we should look at
Yeah.
winding this down. It's great having everybody around. It's amazing how fast time does fly when we're flapping our gums.
Yeah, I was a little late. Sorry.
You get a demerit
Yeah,
when
you made
get
it.
a demerit. Yeah, I'm going to talk to Raymond about that. We'll deliver the demerit sometime with the
Yeah.
Put
podcast.
me on the kitty table, aren't you?
There you go. You're in the keep with me.
Is that a smoking section? Is the kitty
Yeah.
table a smoking section?
If I'm there, you know it is.
You have to care.
Yeah, me and John we're sit there. So
Is there a
we got that
bartender in the kitty section?
Well-
I'll bring something.
There should be.
There better be.
That's where the rum cookies are.
Definitely.
I'll take
Yum.
that.
Well, normally I would ask people, what they have planned for streams and all that, but nobody here really says streamer except for me. When you have you and John both hop on to Raymond's podcast on Saturdays,
yeah.
and I probably will bother him too. Of course, I know the old man doesn't go on any other than this one every month.
Yeah.
And of course,
Excuse
unfortunately,
me. Excuse
Him
me.
and Pudgy need to get together.
him and who? Oh, Pudgy? Oh,
Pudgy Hedgehog.
You know what, Pudgy? That reminds me, John. Before we go, I'm sorry, Baron. You were Raymond had brought up about a trauma that I had done, but I didn't want to talk about it on the show because it wasn't Pudgy friendly.
oh
Yeah.
yeah.
All I'm going to ask you to do is look up a procedure called hemicorporectomy.
Yeah.
HEMICORPOR-ectomy. That's
Yeah,
where we actually amputate half the body.
Yeah, you
Oh.
told me about that.
Yeah.
And, that's horrible.
That was actually this is the first one that has ever survived down here in South Texas.
Really?
Wow. And
Yeah,
that's the
we
lower
did the
half of
first
the
one
body.
that survived. Huh?
And put in.
We
You
didn't
have
have a
no idea.
This
No idea.
young man was pinned between two cars. He'd stopped to help a lady that broke down on the side of the road one morning,
Yeah.
and another car hit a car that he was between, and it pinched him in between and completely shattered his pelvis. And it wasn't. We had our pelvic specialist come into the ER and take a look, and he said there's nothing. Iliac vessels were completely crushed from the pelvis down. And the only thing we could do to save his life was to cut him in half and amputate everything from his waist down.
Mm.
And he actually went home recently.
Really?
Well, that's good.
He
God, I
actually
wish
went
the guy
home.
all the best. You know, you
Me too.
gotta
I
love.
did go back in and do a surgery on him with the urologist. The urologist came in because urologists do like kidney surgery, ureter surgeries, and bladder surgeries. Well, he didn't have a bladder anymore. So
Yeah.
we had to reroute. We had to do what was called an ileoconduit, which is where we
Mhm.
take out a section of the intestines, the ileum, and
Yeah.
we actually create a little track with the ileum so that he can put lead out of his body into a bag.
Yeah.
And so I went back and
Okay.
did that with the urologist later. But yeah, he actually went home recently.
Mm.
So
Well, that's good to hear.
that was horrible. But I mean, if
I
you want to see graphic pictures of it,
Oh
there's
no.
pictures
No,
online.
Was
So
he? How long was he in the hospital for?
yeah, he was probably in here for what, at least a month.
Yeah.
I'd have to go back to my notes to remember the exact day it happened.
Yeah, because that's a long recovery from that
It's a
many
long,
kinds of
yeah.
things happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
had to do a
That's a
colostomy, and then we had to do a bag for his urine output. So he
Yeah.
has 2 bags. But
Yeah, I mean, I just hope the guy finds some kind of quality of life.
he is actually very happy to be alive.
Is he?
Oh, that's
I went to go talk to him a couple of weeks ago in the regular floor, on the regular nursing floor. And he thanked me, and he said he was very happy to be alive, and that's it.
God bless him. You know,
that's
You know,
That-
it takes a special mind to be able to overcome something like that, and he seems to be doing it.
that's
So,
good.
that's the thing. You know, I couldn't imagine going through that. And like I've said before, I fear amputation more than I fear death.
yeah.
You
Hmm.
know,
Well, I will admit, whenever my leg, after I'd been hit by the car and my leg was nearly amputated, when I was laying there in a hospital bed for a month while they were trying to save my lower leg, there was a point where I had actually said, let's just cut it off so I can get out of the hospital. But I'm
Yeah.
glad they didn't. They wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
no.
They told me, no, your foot is still alive. We're not going to cut it off. Your foot is still alive.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, but
Well,
I mean, I'm glad they
I'm
didn't.
glad you
But I had reached the point where I was like, I'm in a lot of pain. I'm going through surgeries every 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
You know, just cut it off and let me go home. But
Mhm.
no,
Yeah.
I'm glad they talked me out of it.
There's a point where patience and pain collide.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you can get through that, and thank God you did. You know,
But I was ready for them to just cut my leg off, cut my lower leg off. I was ready. I was just told them, I said, look, I could be out of the hospital. If you just cut it off, I can go home in 2 days.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But nope, they wouldn't do it because my foot was alive. And these are surgeons that I work with.
yeah.
Mhm.
You know.
Well, that's
Well,
the thing. You've got, you know, perhaps a little extra gumption because you're kind of close to them. They pulled up that little extra bit of, you know, professional oomph, if you will.
Yeah.
And
Well, I won't use the exact words that they use because you can't really use them on YouTube.
yeah,
I don't know. I think the old man was using a few of them. Well, I do thank you, everybody, for showing up tonight. Of course, John, Wendy, I hope to be seeing you on Saturday with the pod.
absolutely.
And of course, also on Saturday, I'll be with the Pulp Culture Minefield, Gary and Keith's Saturday morning fun time show. That's usually noon Central Standard Time. Unfortunately, like I said, the Kings is on a hiatus for about a month. Hopefully, in August, we'll be back going at it. Tuesday, you can catch me over at a Fandology now. It used to be the Star Wars guys, but for their Tuesday night trek, that's 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. Any last, of course, Wednesday here at 9 o'clock Central Standard Time. Any last things anybody wishes to say before we go here? Any farewells?
Well, I'm
Yes,
just.
I do.
Oh, go ahead, old man.
Really, no idea. No idea. I am permitted to be on here. Thank you, Baron. But most of all, You have no idea how much I'm absolutely grateful to be on here with the Fez and Wendy.
Well, I'm glad to be here with you, old man. And you know,
Yeah.
this is. It used to be Friday night was the best night of my week. Now it's Wednesday night because I get Raymond's stream, I get this one, and then again Saturday is Raymond also. So
Yeah.
this is the highlight of my week. So
Like I told Baron, my favorite night of the week right now is the last Wednesday of every month because I get to come and hang with you guys. I love you guys so much. I just really enjoy it. I look forward to this night.
Yeah.
So it's a pleasure.
Cool people in the chat. You meet so many new people.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And even those that lurk.
Yep.
Well,
if anything, I'm sorry that Zach's and some other guy with Pacifica didn't come and join us. They're wonderful people. I love them all. And Wendy, you and I got a real bond.
Yes, sir.
We've been through some hell.
Yep.
John,
yes, sir.
You've always been my friend. You never will be anything else.
I'm honored, sir.
You're
And,
still an asshole.
Old man, one last thing real quick. You had mentioned about you're into Civil War history. Have you ever read a book called War from the Inside by Frederick Hill Hitchcock?
You know, I've only read part of it.
All right.
I know
it's free online, and he was from Scranton. One of the stories he tells is about Richard Adolphus Oakford, who was a colonel of the 132nd Pennsylvania. He was killed at the Bloody Lane at Antietam, and he was also the second master of my Masonic Lodge.
Really?
Yeah. And he's buried at Hollenbach Cemetery in Wilkes-Barre. I just found his grave 2 years ago.
Fantastic.
I'll be down.
I guess I was more observed in the Minnesota First. Something called some damn charge up some damn hill. And John, I know you know what I'm talking about.
Well, to everybody in the chat, thank you so much for being here. Thank you, of course, Wendy, Old Man, John Fez for Hire. I wish everyone a wonderful night.
Have a good
Now let's go to the really popular Gila Douche.
Huh? You know, I have my own product. They're little shaved cookies for the discriminating palate. Each comes in its own little hot box. Cookies La Douche.